o'clock yet.
But it's working.
Red light's still on.
It's solid, that means it's working. When it flashes, it's done like that, it's on.
Now it's 6 o'clock.
Our live screen.
We just have the banners. Yeah. Just a fun little project.
No,
Not at the moment.
no.
He's actually, he had his place.
I checked it.
He signed papers on it to get it sold. And then
Most of the solar panel people.
going to, all my.
South here.
We just came up with
Well,
that, Korean.
Those are two solar fields they like to.
Probably need to, so that way they know.
A project.
Wow.
And
What's wrong with this place that you just?
I would not say
I would say
those
you
had
sold really.
500.
Kind of where we all
he just
headed.
wants to get rid of it.
And then,
And,
I think they're smooth as
They don't like to run coast to coast. It's 6 o'clock. Let's call this meeting to order. Please rise to the pledge of flag, please. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we're having our public hearing on the master utility plan.
Yes, good evening, council. My name is Mike Kleinpeter with Kleinpeter Consulting Group. We were the grant administrators that assisted the town last year. We applied for a grant from the Indiana Office of Community and Rural Affairs in the amount of $90,000, and we received that grant. That grant was to look at our water, sewer, and stormwater system and what improvements or what are the needs of the utility over the next 5 to 10 years. We went through a request for qualifications process. We interviewed a bunch of firms. Ultimately, we ended up selecting RQAW/DCCM to work on that plan. With us tonight is Aaron to talk a little bit about the results from that plan and have the final public hearing to close out the grant process.
Hi everybody, thanks for taking some time to talk about the project. Like Mike said, my name is Aaron Crow. We were engaged to this study for quite some time ago, like Mike said as well. And really through the process of meeting with the town and the representatives multiple times have kind of highlighted a set of projects with each of the 3 utilities, so drinking water, wastewater, stormwater. And I just wanted to give you guys a brief description of kind of what those projects were. On the drinking water side, and actually just as a quick aside as well, a lot of the survey results and letters that were written to actually help get the Master Utility Study funded in the first place, we took those and those kind of became a lot of the project. So it wasn't just meeting with a few town representatives, it was sort of a collective effort with the input received from the town to date. So on the drinking water side, we were looking at a new 100,000 gallon elevated storage tank. Site not exactly determined, but generally we were looking at it on the north side to support some some development anticipated on that side of town. We worked with Jeremy as well on this side to look at some potential areas to replace isolation valves. So the town, and this is a pretty common problem, but based on where valves are placed in the system, if you have a break on a certain segment of line, it can cause an outage, you know, far exceeding just the area where the break occurred. So these isolation valves would allow Jeremy and his team to more effectively replace water main segments without causing a bunch of outages, you know, downstream. We also looked at selective water main loopings and extensions. This would help with age of water. So, the idea would be to get fewer brown water complaints, less stale water. It also helped with pressures. So not just normal static, we call it static pressure, but also in the case of a fire, we wanted to make sure that the pressures were sufficient to sustain firefighting methods, attempts throughout that time. It also had a fairly substantial portion of a lead service line replacement project. There's some federal mandates that have come through that are requiring replacement of all lead or galvanized steel lines if they're not able to be proven to never be downstream of lead. Hopefully that makes sense. So essentially, lead's the main issue, but some of these galvanized lines downstream can pick up those lead materials that leach out of the service lines. So anyway, that's a large portion of the project. And then centralized water softening at the water treatment plant. There's been quite a few hard water complaints and challenges with hard water. So that's it on the drinking water side. On the wastewater side, a little simpler, looking at lift station improvements, a lot of fall protection and electrical controls upgrades. There was some collection system improvements that we wanted to address. And then finally at the wastewater plant, there are some issues with, at the primary cell, having some areas of sludge deposition that are not ideal, essentially for Jake and the rest of the wastewater staff. So we had some improvements to solve those issues. Finally, on the stormwater side, we looked at a couple of different areas with some reported flooding. One area, well, actually a lot of areas throughout town we're able to address mostly with HMA leveling, so just asphalt leveling to eliminate bird baths as we call them, so just low spots. Some areas required inlets to be replaced or upsized to more effectively capture that water. We also looked at some new stormwater infrastructure just north of the east side of town actually. And then finally a lot of the survey results that Mike had collected and his team during the master utility study process noted flooding at the park. I say in town, but just east of the river. So we looked at a berm as the way to solve that. So essentially you're encapsulating, bringing that area of the park out of the floodplain, which is a massive undertaking, was fairly expensive, but was a technically feasible solution. It would also require mitigate, like whenever you bring something out of the floodplain, a lot of these state and federal agencies want you to compensate for that reduction in storage or like ability to contain the flood. So you have to essentially compensate by adding other pieces or other properties to the floodplain. So that's what resulted in a fairly high project cost. So that's really the scope of the projects. Does the council have any questions or anything? This was approved. We may not have said that, but
Where's the money gonna come from to do all this?
that is ultimately the question.
That's the next question we're gonna get into, Tom. After this we close the public hearing, we're gonna start talking about going after Okra grant money to implement some of the projects that are on this list.
Yeah, so the goal is minimizing the burden on the town as much as possible.
This berm you're talking about to contain the river, I assume, out on the west side of the river?
Yeah, so I don't have a map with me, but there's that little bend that comes over.
Okay.
So that we'd put that berm essentially around the park property, south of the river, if that makes sense.
Good luck on that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you'd have to stage it up pretty high to remove it from the floodplain.
yeah.
That would be very, very, very low on our list to do.
Yeah.
Well, I don't
You
see,
really couldn't do it.
I don't see any way possible you can do it, cause you can't put the berm behind the homeowner's property along the river where it's gonna come across.
And you can't block off the boat ramp. I
No,
don't know where.
Yeah. We looked at and being study phase, we didn't get too detailed, but we did look at, like, obviously you'd also need to maintain access, right, to to the park, so it would
Yeah.
require regrading a road and the entrance in.
DNR's got a lot to say about that.
Yes, yep. FEMA as well, federal agencies would have, so that'd be an extensive permitting process to get through that on the design side.
Anybody have any more questions?
Public comment?
Got public comment, that's what we're here for. Well, we'll adjourn this then, public hearing.
Perfect.
Thank you, guys.
You have a resolution, Tom, to approve next, hopefully.
We'll get to that, hang
Thank
on.
you. Thank you.
We're gonna call our regular meeting to order. We've already done our pledge of allegiance at the beginning. Now we're at public input with Mike Kleinpeter, Master Utility Plan.
So you've got a resolution before you tonight. That resolution just approves the plan, and now that we've done the second public hearing, I can request to release the remaining grant funds to the town.
This
to
is
pay-
resolution number 4 of 2025.
Yes, sir.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion made by Jim. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Alvin. Is there any more discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. You got anything else?
Yes, so now that we're done with the planning grant, one of the things that we've been talking with Jake and Brad about is going after an Okra grant for wastewater for $750,000 to implement some of the projects that were identified in the planning grant. So Okra's, go ahead, you wanna talk?
No, go ahead.
Okay, Okra's got up to $750,000 available. 6 years ago, I think we did a water project. 7 years ago, we did a water project. 6 years ago, we did a wastewater project through Okra and utilized this funding. You can only come in once every 5 years without taking a point deduction. So now that we've rolled off that 5-year mark, now we're loading back up again to do a project. And I think Aaron's got some things to talk about regarding the project and what all's needed.
Sure.
And I think Brad
Yes,
wants to talk
that's
about
okay,
it.
good.
Okay. So, in addition to Okra being a primary funding source, we have a state revolving fund, SRF, administered by the Indiana Finance Authority. They've been, there's been a very large influx of cash through a lot of these federal programs, the bipartisan infrastructure law, primarily. This is the last year, so like we're coming up on the 5th of 5 years of that funding cycle. So Indiana Finance Authority's been getting a bunch of money, and it has allowed them to give out pretty substantial loan forgiveness, essentially grants on the SRF side as well. For a host of projects, we are looking at using SRF for one of those projects, but one of the components needed to submit for that funding is an asset management plan. Those asset management plans are also required by state code. Just for any municipality, there are different schedules associated with it, but SRF has essentially said, if you want our money, you got to do an asset management plan. Those asset management plans cover 3 components: the technical, the managerial, and the financial. So we as the engineers would prepare the technical and the managerial. Technical is really where we would do the most heavy lifting. Managerial, we work with the town staff really a lot to collect certain information. And then the financial piece would be the town working with a municipal advisor. And we would incorporate that piece, work with them to develop. These AMPs can essentially become living documents. I mean, I think for clerk treasurer, but also just in general for the town, they can be living documents that, okay, it could be checking a box for SRF, but it could also be like a really nice capital improvements plan, where we work with the town and go, okay, what's a reasonable rate increase? I hate to say that word, but how does this get funded on a 20-year lifespan, and how do we identify all the assets, how much life is left in each of them, what's the cost going to be to replace them, and then, well, where's the money going to come from? So that has been a really effective tool, I think, when municipalities view it as a tool, not just the thing to check off the box. So that's due by April 1st.
Yeah.
Just to,
If, remember, the state park, we've been kinda holding off, see if state park's gonna come through. That would have taken care of 4 to 5 lift stations, so we were kinda waiting for that. Aaron's checked with Indiana Indiana Finance Authority, that is off of the table for now, the state park, so, you know, we've been kinda waiting for the last couple, 3 years to start working on these lift stations that are definitely panels
With
and
the state
things, some
park
of those
thing's
were put,
It's
yeah,
off the rec,
Yeah.
works.
yeah, this month. It's off for a while, I mean, I don't foresee them putting it back on, they've taken all the funds away from where that would've came from. So, you know, with the asset management plan, that's something we really need to do to be ready. When we get ready to try to do a project, we gotta have those done and in place, so.
So
But the
the-
lift stations would be the priority on anything in wastewater. For sure,
Are you in need of lift stations
yeah.
right now? How many?
The one, like where your church was, that was 89 last time that was redone, so they're definitely in need. That one needs a backup generator at it, part of the things they're supposed to have. Yeah, and the panels and things all need redone, so they do.
We'll set that generator up high too.
We don't wanna run underwater, do we?
Yeah.
So, you know, that's where we're all heading with it, some things that, to get our future into where we need to be. So, the asset management plan is definitely something we really need to have done and in our back pocket, ready to go. Go ahead, Aaron. Sorry.
Sure, no. And so I guess what we'd like to present to the council for their consideration is we do have a contract for that asset management plan. It also, as more of a minor scope component, would take those studies that we were just discussing and turn them into what's called a PER, which is just a preliminary engineering report. So any of these funding agencies want to see that. It's really those two pieces that would make the town eligible for these loan forgiveness dollars, the low interest rates, subsidized interest rates, et cetera. So I have 5 copies. I didn't print a ton, so I don't can pass these out. Okay, and I'm gonna have to keep one of these, or I'll just look over your shoulder or something. Well, actually, you know what?
Go ahead.
Okay, all right. Okay. So, most of those first few pages are standard terms and conditions, like we would bill on a monthly basis, you know, ways to resolve disputes. It shows the total dollar amount there on page 2, or like the back side of that first page. The real scope that I think is probably what you guys would want to see, thank you, is, let's see, we're on the back side of that third page. That's where we get into the real nuts and bolts of what we would provide to the town.
On page 4, you're saying.
Yeah, so that would be the first one with that RQW DCCM logo on the top right.
Let's flip one more.
This is page 5.
It's on the back side of page 5.
Oh, page
Yeah, there
6
you go.
then.
Okay, page 6. So that's just a brief description of like the project scope and phasing. But then the scope of services begins on page 7. It just kind of shows you what that PR structure is going to look like. Like I mentioned, a lot of this has already been done through the study, so it's kind of, I hate to even say this, but there's a lot of bullet points here, but there's not a lot of like legwork that's needed. It's really that AMP there at the bottom on that 4th line item, that there's a lot of legwork that goes into that, like I mentioned, of developing, like the PR addresses current capital projects, but that AMP is going to identify other projects that are needed, you know, because it'll go through, we'll work with each of your operators and say, okay, your blowers at your wastewater plant, those are installed in 2010. They have a remaining life of 5 years. Well, so how are we gonna fund that replacement? So that's really what that asset management plan does. Whereas this is more about like solving PRs or solving specific problems you know, with new infrastructure, AMPs are really addressing future needs. So we try to like look out 20 years.
So have you done much of this kind of stuff before?
Yes, we have worked with, I mean, even in the past couple of years, 5 or 6 communities have had some relative success there. Small town of Wheatland, Indiana, Knox County, they were awarded $10 million in grant money alone. So that's not even loan, and that was to get, they didn't have a sewer system at all. So we were able to work with the state rep, Indiana Finance Authority gave a very generous package, and then the rest of it, I think, was subsidized, if not 0% interest loans for the remainder of the project cost. So then that's just one example. We've worked with them a long time, so it's been really cool to see. You know, like we replaced their entire distribution system because they had 75% water loss. It was crazy. And then that was like a $3 million grant, and then came alongside and did their wastewater system for $10 million. So we also work with Union City. We've done quite a few SRF projects throughout the state.
Does SRF still award interest rates by tier? We went through one over in Francisville, and they didn't get a 0 interest rate, but it was less than, I want to say, 2%.
Yeah.
So they still do it. Top 30 get those. They do that theoretically with this project too. Then they.
Mm-hmm. Good question. So it's like a grid. So you've got your median household income that establishes, I think, the row in the table, and then maybe your user rate for the utility is your columns.
Okay.
And then beyond that, you can get what are called GPR, Green Project Reserve points. So you can further subsidize that tiered interest rate by another 0.5% if you introduce energy efficient or generally green projects. So like, even on this sewer project, we can get pretty creative with it, but like, we could probably say that the upgrades of those electrical control panels at your lift station would qualify as a GPR component. So that just helps bring the interest rate down a little further.
So this lump sum amount of $50,000, that's paid up front?
That's paid out over like a monthly invoice. So we would, up through probably April would be your last invoice.
And how much are we gonna get for paying this up front, paying this like that?
Yeah, like what, deliverable or what?
I mean, what all do we get for that first initial 50,000?
Yeah, so I mean, it will unlock the ability to get the SRF funding. It's that.
No guaranteed though on the funding.
No, I mean, we feel pretty good about this project scope. The fact that it already has Okra involved, SRF gives bonus points for Okra involvement too on the projects. So,
You have to do this to apply to even go after it,
correct.
so.
It checks a box on your meeting state code just as a utility. And hopefully it will produce a document that you guys can actually work off of, you know, to think through what future costs may come from having to replace equipment.
How soon do we need to start this? Right away, or?
Yeah, I mean, the first round, we could try to go in and get funds, I mean, see what we can get. You know, we have to have a project first though, so, you know, we have to go over the lift stations for capacities, you know, fine tooth comb on what is needed in that lift station to replace it, bring it up to today's standards. So that's the part, we've got to do that, so.
So it's gonna take a while to get that part done.
It's gonna take a little while.
And I believe, didn't you say we had to have this done before April?
So the asset management plan and the PR need to be submitted to SRF by April 1st. That's what's going to, so the way that funding cycle goes is you submit to SRF by April 1st, and then they have what they call project priority list, which is just like competitive, it's a competitive grant and loan system. And so you can kind of see where your project stacks in the competitiveness in July. That's usually when that scoring comes out. And then usually in mid-August or so, you begin to get the notices of funding, where SRF will then tell you, okay, this is how much we're willing to give in subsidized interest rates, this is how much we could give in loan forgiveness. Here's what the funding package looks like overall. And then you're kind of off to the races. They want you to design, permit, bid the project and close on the actual loan by June, say, of the next year, if that makes sense. So like June of 2027. That's the overall schedule. But we're just trying to get that first step, underway. And we need a little bit of time to work with your operators and work with a financial advisor to pull this together by April 1st. So.
Council thoughts?
I think it's something we need to look into for sure.
Well, we can't sit around spinning our wheels, we need to decide on something.
You would think it's necessary, but
The lift stations are, for sure. That's probably the easiest one of these we could start with.
Yeah.
Some of those lift stations aren't new tanks or anything. Some of those are epoxy coated, they just need parts replaced. When we redid the water plant, what year was that?
0405.
0405. I think it was almost that same year when we were doing the CSO project. That lift station's one of the newest ones, it's 20 years old, so. We had to replace the generator at that place, at that station, so that one wouldn't have to be replaced as far as that. But panels and the control systems that were designed for that, some of those they don't make anymore, so.
You said the
New
generator,
technology.
you said the generator was replaced at
Yeah, that
station?
one was down by the water plant, the one there on
Oh.
Plymouth Road. So, you don't have to buy a generator for that one, some of the other ones, some of them are complete from the wet well tank to the controls, to the pumps, everything, and, well, they're all would get new pumps. But, yeah, those have to operate, we have standards, we have to follow through IDEM on maintenance and things on those too.
I guess I'll make a motion, we go with RQAW for the $50,000 to get this plan started.
We have a motion made by Larry to get this started with RQAW. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Jim. Is there any more discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign.
Thank you very much. Excited to work with you all.
No, the third component in
Short
that,
form, is it? This is the short form.
the third component is what Mike can.
So he can take care of your managerial and technical piece, but you still need somebody to do the financial piece he talked about. I own Klein Peter Consulting, we're a grant writing firm. My dad owns Klein Peter Financial Group, which is a financial advising firm. He's got a Series 50, Series 54. Last year he did 10 asset management plans. To give you some idea of his experience, he just closed on a $10 million loan over in Couts, Indiana. So he's done some work in the area. But our cost to do the asset management plan financial piece would be $12,000. That's that third piece you're gonna need to complete the full package. So Brad asked me to come by today and tell you about that and see if you were interested.
I guess we gotta have all pieces of the
You
pie,
gotta have
don't
all
we?
pieces of the puzzle to make it work in the end.
It's a pretty darn good rate.
Huh?
That's a pretty darn good rate, having, representing 9 other towns, I can tell you that's pretty cheap compared to what I've seen,
So,
just from my 2 cents.
does anybody on the council have any discussion? Or wanna entertain a motion?
I would move to a contract with the name
Klein Peter Financial Group.
Klein Peter Financial Group
Yeah.
for services.
We have a motion made by Alvin. Is there any more discussion? Do I have a second? Seconded by Danielle. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
And then for the Ochre grant that we're gonna be going after, I just wanna talk briefly about timeline. I didn't bring one with me today because the Ochre schedule for next year isn't out yet, and I didn't wanna give you something that once the schedule comes out, I have to adjust. But basically, there's a proposal that's gonna be due in March or April, and a complete application that's gonna be due in June or July. So that's the timeline we're gonna work for to try to secure this $750,000 grant. The only fee you have on your grant administration side up front is the environmental review. We have to do an environmental review that costs $5,000. Then we submit the grant application. If we're not funded, you don't pay us anything further for submitting that 400-page grant application. If we are funded, then we get paid 8% of the grant amount plus $5,000. Okra sets the fees for that stuff. So tonight, I think you've got an environmental review contract for $5,000 in front of you to proceed forward with the Okra grant if you so choose.
If I could, excuse me, I'd like in the minutes that the agreement with Klein Peter Financial was for $12,000. I think that should be in there. Okay, let's make sure that that's in there.
Yes, $12,000.
Thank you.
And then this would be with Klein Peter Consulting Group for $5,000 for the environmental review.
Council, got any questions or thoughts? We're running out of money.
Print more. Print more. Need a motion for that?
Yeah,
Okay, so moved.
we have a motion made by Alvin to go with Klein Peter. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Jim. Any more discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Council.
Next on the agenda, approved November 10th, 2025 public hearing, approved November 10th, 2025 regular meeting minutes.
Move to approve.
We have a motion made by Alvin to approve. Any discussion? Do I have a second? Seconded by Danielle. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Approved claims, allowance docket payroll number 23, 11/9/2025, allowance docket payroll number 24, 11/23/25, voucher register batch December council meeting. Do we have any questions or discussions on any of those?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I have a motion made by Larry to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Alvin. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Jeremy,
We were continuing on leaf pickup until the snow hit, kind of put a damper on that, so when the snow's gone and warms up, we'll get back on that. We did replace that fire hydrant on Riverside Drive there, got it back in there, in its service. Did some more backfilling on the new road back there behind Galbraith Drive along the edge, so it's not just a drop off, because the asphalt was up a little bit when they put it in. All the meters in the new apartment complex in Galbraith Drive are in. Changed out some meters that weren't working properly. Took some barricades up for the winter wonderland over the weekend. Had to salt the street a few times, just a little snows, and then we had snow removal with the help from the wastewater and electric departments. Thanksgiving weekend there for the big amount of snow, so. Other than that, unless you guys have anything for me?
any questions for Jeremy? I have one.
Yes, sir.
Do you know who tore the sidewalk out down on Market Street?
Yes,
Well, we're gonna,
we'll fix it.
well, I looked at that, and my thought is, do we have to have that little piece of sidewalk coming out to the street? Why can't we just fix the curb? Why's that little strip of sidewalk gotta be there? Brad?
I'd say we'll look at it in the spring when the snow melts,
Yeah.
that's why I told the property owner, and he's fine with that.
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, the other property owners along there don't have that sidewalk coming out, just that one property.
Yeah. There's something we got when the snow's gone. It's hard to see right now, but
Just a thought that might
some
save.
of this week, you wouldn't say
We'll see
anything.
it. Yeah, we'll look at it.
But we'll look at it and see what we can come up with.
Okay, Doug,
Do you have any questions? Turn in?
anybody have any questions for Doug? Did everybody get a chance to look over Jake's report?
I see here the, snow removal, I would think the town did a nice job of cleaning downtown with the snow. Appreciate that.
Branson?
We finished November with 238 call screens and 19 cases drawn. We investigated 23 accidents, 46 traffic stops. We made 4 arrests, did 58 business checks. Just some miscellaneous stuff on that. You guys have any questions?
This looks a lot nicer. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Anybody got a question for Branson? You got anything else?
I think so.
Yeah, you do.
Oh, I guess I thought that you were going to call that.
And the third.
Yeah, so I gave you guys a packet, I just got copies of it made tonight. I was out on Friday. But I'm asking to update the certification list as these pertain to Officer Baylor sitting here. He's got 3 certifications that have required extensive training for him to be able to get those, and shows to be an asset to our town. He's provided training for the fire department and EMS. And those 3 certs would be, he's a nationally certified hazmat technician. He's obtained his ICS 300 and ICS 400 through FEMA.
What's the difference in 300 and 400?
The level of the 300 is like an introduction, gets you started on everything as far as the incident command system, and then 4 puts everything together where they basically teach you how to run an actual event, all the proper FEMA paperwork. When we did the pandemic thing, when we had all that going and we ran, we actually did incident action plans, we run on a 24-hour clock on those, because there wasn't a whole lot to do. I ran like over 65, I think, meetings for that. I ran the meetings of the planning section sheet for that with the training I was able to do from 400. So, and you can use it on anything, honestly. Like the fire guys would use it, if they go on a fire, they make a plan, they follow, they have an incident commander and stuff like that. So basically it's that, you can go further, you can go to all hazards class, and go on from there if you want to be like playing section chief or something else, like logistics or whatever. You can go all the way up and do stuff for other states and get pulled from them. I did a lot of stuff with IDHS, so District 2.
Where did you say the closest technician was?
We use hazmat technicians out of LaPorte with our team, but I'm trained. I'm more of an information because I'm a single guy. I don't know, does the fire department have one guy that's a technician, Larry? No? So I might be the only one left in the county then. There was another gentleman that
The
didn't.
majority of us are hazmat trained, but not technician level.
And that involves like level A suits, or if I do that, attach chlorine cylinders up to a ton. I don't have the equipment to do it, I have the training to do it. I need 5 other techs to be able to certify as a team, but I have a lot of information on that, obviously. It's a really involved examination where I have to know like the pressure, like this, the pressures of different trailers and lower and upper explosive limits and stuff like that. A lot of technical information.
Council thoughts?
My thoughts on as far as the ICS 300, 400, I have that, I have the 700.
Yeah, the 700s are the ones you have to do prior.
Yeah.
The Academy considers those certifications on my record. If you pull up my record, it says it's an actual certification.
Says what?
It's an actual certification through the Academy as well. If you pull up my PSID number through the Academy, it considers both of those certifications. There's testing involved, so you've been through those, so you remember that.
Yes.
I thought originally we had 4 on here that was pre-approved for qualifications, but you said we have 6?
Yeah, we've got 6 now. That was the last approved list, yes.
Council thoughts?
question is there an end to these certifications? I'm sure there's not, but
I have other certifications, but I don't use them every day in the law enforcement thing, so I didn't submit those because I don't use them a lot. I could, but I don't.
These three here that are in bold print, I'm hoping you don't use them a lot either.
Well, it depends on what you're doing. I mean, you know, I get a semi-wreck in town and something's leaking out of it. I mean, that covers the hazmat end of it. We get a big enough incident, which could be even doing if we have to go do a call out for something, I mean, you basically use the same system. I mean, as far as the incident command, I mean, obviously we have a commander, we have a plan.
When we normally call, EMA, and she would handle getting the hazmat team out of LaPorte.
Yeah, she would call the hazmat team out of LaPorte, but if initially you need that information, are you gonna wait an hour for them to get here, an hour and a half, it's gonna let people die? I guess that's my kind of concern. If you have somebody with the information, say, hey, we need to get this person here because the immediate evacuation is 1.5 miles for this, or are you gonna wait for them to come down and do it and tell you, okay, hey, all the people are dead now, we gotta leave them there. I mean, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but they're obviously depending on what's going through town.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to be when I asked.
Yeah, no, I know, when I wasn't trying to be smart, but I mean, that's what we thought, so. Cause they used to make fun of the police being canaries, cause we run up on a scene of a crash and the police would die, so how many dead police do you have, so how bad your hazmat incident is. Seriously, that's what they, and I was like one of the only cops in the class, so it was like they would need to be up to time.
would we need more than you certified on this? Or is one person enough?
Well, you can have as many as you want, if you want to actually put together a team, but the physical part to keep the team going, just for us to go through that, it used to be about $1,000, I'm thinking it's upwards of $2,000 a year now. So a lot of smaller agencies can't afford a team, but they'll have somebody with the information to get started, and then if this is bad enough, it's like, hey, I need to call LaPorte, because I need him to come down here and do this. I mean, Larry could do that, I mean, kind of too, I mean, he's got enough training.
For this stuff, do you have to do continuing education on it?
I do have that training every year, yes, sir. We all do, required to by the state. We're required to for the academy, yes, sir.
Council thoughts?
I'd be in favor of going with the hazard material technician, the NIMS or ICS 300, 400, I'm not 100% on.
Anybody else's thoughts?
I think we ought to move with it.
With what?
Approve these, yes.
All three of them? Or the hazards like Larry talked about?
I have another inject if I could, sir.
Sure.
When I was in that class, Kosciuszko County, or that's not Kosciuszko County, Warsaw PD, any officers above the level of sergeant are required to have both those classes for command courses, so it is like used in law enforcement, just if that helps. Anybody sergeant above has to have it. I mean, I'm obviously not a sergeant here, but that's a requirement for all their officers that might be in a command situation.
Do you have them, Ransom?
I do not.
Council thoughts?
I agree with Larry, but the hazmat thing is something we probably need to have. The other two.
Danielle? Alvin?
I see no problem moving forward with all three of them. I mean, it's something that's helping us and giving us more immediate response than being used, I guess.
Do you wanna make that a motion?
Yeah, I'll make the motion to approve the three new certifications.
We have a motion made by Danielle to approve the 3 new certifications on our list with a total of 9. Do I have any more discussion on it? I have a second by Alvin. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next,
Which one, please go,
next on the agenda is ordinance number 22 of 2025, an ordinance establishing the Town of Wilmette Police Canine Donation Fund. Council thoughts on that?
Whatever orchestrated this to come up with an ordinance.
I guess our chief.
Yeah, so Aaron Copperall, earlier in the year, I talked to you guys about this, that he had wanted to start pursuing that and getting a dog for the town. He was gonna basically fundraise for it to cover the cost for the dog. We've started getting donations from businesses in town, from people in town. We need a place to put those checks. It'll just be for the canine fund.
But we're not wanting to get a canine yet, though.
We don't have the money to do it yet, no.
So this is just an ordinance establishing a fund for you to put the money into, to be possibly used sometime in the future.
Correct.
So what if the council does not want a police dog?
Well, we'll have to cross that bridge when we get to it, but the last time we talked about it, as long as we weren't paying for it, we were getting donations, the members I spoke to were okay with it, so.
So, who you say, Aaron who?
Coppermill,
He's one of our town officers.
he is,
But he doesn't have a dog now, does
he
he?
is not.
Does the county have a dog?
Yeah.
Do we need two in the county? Do we
They
need,
they only have one,
I mean, if we get one, we'd have two, have the county to have one, the town would have one.
Correct.
Is that,
yeah, generally they would have, generally the sheriff's department would have two, but they only have one, so, that's a good resource for him, especially with the kind of drug investigations he's working. He's went to several, covert drug schools. He's very passionate about that, and that's a good resource for the town. It's a good community building tool to have. Kids love the dogs, people love the dogs, so.
I know you're working for donations, but what is the cost as far as the dog and further training for Aaron?
So, it depends on, obviously, whoever I'll call it the outfitter you go through, but generally you're around that $16,000 to $18,000 mark for a dog with the training.
And we don't have a canine officer on our police department now, do we?
We do not.
So require more monies to get certified to handle a dog? I'm not sure how that works.
Yeah, so with him, with canine handlers, they have to have, what's called canine maintenance. And that is decided by me, how that would work throughout the month. He has to have a certain amount of time allocated to him per shift to be able to take care of his dog, so that can basically look like comp time. Down in Logansport, when we did it, they would get canine days, and they would just average up how many hours that was per day for the month, and then they would say, hey, you get, 3 extra days for that month, or 2 extra days for that month. But that would be determined by me. So.
Well, I have a little issue with some of the wording here. It says authorized use of funds. Monies received shall be used for the following purposes: acquiring, training, and maintaining a canine officer. It doesn't say one word in there about maintaining or taking care of the dog.
The dog is an officer.
Not as far as I'm concerned.
I'm just telling you what the state says.
I know they say that, but it doesn't mention it in here about for the dog, which I think if it's gonna be in an ordinance, it should say that, but what do you think, attorney?
So the term canine officer refers to the dog itself. I know it sounds funky, but that's how they refer to a canine officer. So it's not actually referring to the handler, which, is different. So the purpose of this fund would not be to hold monies concerning the canine handler, so to speak, unless under subsection B, you guys approve that use. I always put that subsection B in there in case you guys wanna change the aim of the expenditures. So you can always do that later, but yeah, I get what you're saying, Tom. It sounds kind of, I say stupid. I'm not putting down you, but canine officer is referring to the dog, not the actual handler, so.
Council thoughts?
Can I ask a question?
Who spoke up?
Me.
Sure.
Does the canine officer, take care of the dog, keep the dog at the house, feed the dog, stuff like that?
Yes.
Or would it be like a normal pet for him? Other than like if something came up, if the dog needed to go to the vet or something, then it'd have to be covered?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and a lot of times, most of the departments I've been at, that have canines, they work out with the vets, with places they get the food, and a lot of times that's donated, those services are donated. get back to the community, so.
So, which officer would like to do this,
Officer Copino,
and where does he live?
he lives, outside of Logansport.
So if we need the dog, it'll take at least 50 minutes, 40 minutes to get it here then.
It's about a 30-minute response time from where he lives, he's right on the highway. Which, I guess to caveat that, the county's handler lives in Stark County, so.
What if you don't get enough funds to get for the dog?
I mean, we'll continue to fundraise until we do.
So offer, we do go ahead and move forward with this, so is he gonna be on call for the use of the dog?
He would be, yes. He would be for the town, yes.
Which would generate quite a bit of overtime, or we'd take time off to offset it?
Correct.
So if he's on call, then he gets paid on-call pay.
No, it means that if, let's say, Officer Gaylord needed the dog for whatever reason, and he was at home, then he would start his time from when he leaves, and then when he gets home, he would stop his time.
So if you stop a vehicle and you have suspicion that it has carried drugs, you can't legally search it, but you can have the dog come and search it, so then you're gonna be waiting 30 to 40 minutes for the dog to come, do a sniff around the vehicle to tell you something, am I correct?
Good, yes.
Well, I mean, you have got some donation money in,
We have,
who has the money now?
Kendra's
You-
got the
you do.
checks.
I mean, I guess we need to earmark that money somewhere, or we have to have a place for it, doesn't mean we have to use it right now. So I guess, I'm not opposed to it, but for State Board of Accounts, we gotta have something set up right, don't we?
Well, that, what this does, it's a fund, all
Right,
right?
that's why I'm saying, so. I'll entertain a motion if somebody wants to make a motion.
Tom, can I say something? I'm from Crown Point, that's where I lived most of my life. There's nothing better than to have a canine on duty with the police department. It is the greatest thing.
Yeah, but it won't be on duty, only about
But when
40%
called,
of the week.
when he's called, you'll have people tell him what they got in the car before the dog even gets there. Or when they're acting up. There's not, we have them in Crown Point, it's amazing what a plus it is to have the canine dog. It's unbelievable.
And then the tracking portion of it as well. I mean, that pays for itself will go when you find someone that's went missing. And if they're out in the woods and
It's huge.
we're in the spring or the summer and there's full overhead with leaves and the drones can't look through it, the dog can find stuff.
Does the Winnebago Police Department have a drone now?
No.
But the fire department does. And we have people qualified to operate it, correct, Jeremy?
Yes.
Huh?
Well, they've got one.
They've got one operator right now.
Licensed. How old are the dogs when they get them? I mean, how much training does it take?
They can get them anywhere from right under a year to sometimes they're 3 years old. It depends.
So it would take a while to get one on list, maybe.
When he goes through his handler's course,
I mean, that would take a while.
and I forget how long it is, it's different for single versus dual. And he can be, I think, like 8 weeks in training for full certification.
Well, I guess I meant, how long does it take them to train a dog?
It depends on the dog,
Okay,
yeah, it depends on
what you're
how
wanting
quickly the
for.
dog picks it
Take
up.
you to train it.
Okay.
Seems like the females are faster, the males, they're a little bit, because I have a 3-year-old Doberman, he didn't start figuring it out till he was 2.5.
Is that right?
Powerful.
Is that the right answer?
Females, 1 year, they're ready to
Just
go.
train your daughter.
Do we have a vehicle that could be adapted for this dog?
Yeah, all the vehicles we have, they make kennels for all those vehicles.
And I assume he would bring the dog with him when he's on duty?
Yes.
It would be here part-time?
Well, I think, Jim, was you making a motion, or?
I got one more thing
Oh,
to
go
say. I think what bothers me the most about this ordinance 22/2025, that we've already received funds for it, before we set up a thing to receive funds.
So you said they put the cart in front of the horse.
Basically,
But to stay square with the State Board of Accounts, we have to have a fund set up, doesn't mean we have to use it anytime soon for a K-9.
Right.
So, what was your motion, Jim?
I'll make a motion to approve orders 22/2025.
We have a motion made by Jim to approve ordinance number 22 of 2025. Do we have any more discussion on it? Do we have a second?
Second.
It's seconded by Alvin. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? I guess we're up to Brad.
Okay. First one on the list is the health insurance here. Kendra and I solicited, we had probably 18 to 20 different quotes. The insurance we currently have is by far the best. So we're recommending we're gonna stay with that. It had 9% increase over last year. One thing I'd like to do different for the HSA, is that in, where's that at?
Ordinance 23.
23. Hang on, let me find it. Got it right here. Ordinance 23. So this will explain the contributions in a employee health savings account. I would like to put an additional $50 in anybody that uses the
Employee spouse.
employee
children.
spouse dependent on the health insurance. I would like to put an additional $50 in their HSA to assist with
$50 per month.
per month.
Okay, in your second paragraph, we're talking about that. Says the town will contribute $236 a month. Then, well, that says the town contributes $286.
That's the
That'll be the family.
that's the $50 more.
Okay. Will take effect January the 1st.
Yes.
Well. That's not in here.
Yeah.
It's an amendment to the 2026 salary ordinance
Yeah, so
that states that.
Okay, just so.
it'll be January 1st.
That's my
It'll
question.
start in January, yes.
We have any more discussion on this?
Motion approved.
I have a motion made by Alvin to approve ordinance number 23 of 2025.
second.
Seconded by Larry. Any more discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign.
Okay. You've got a sheet that shows sick and personal days. So what we'd like to do is move, right now, our sick and personal days go from January to January. On the employee's anniversary date is when their vacation days are effect. We want to move everything so it's on their anniversary date. So that you've got a list there that's going to prorate days for sick time until that employee's anniversary date. On the anniversary date, they'll receive their 7 sick days and 2 personal days, and that has to get them through to the next
So
20.
once this goes all the way around, then everything will be on the same date or always be on the anniversary date?
It'll always be on their anniversary, starting in 27. Everybody's will be on their anniversary date. This way, you break it up. So, you could have done this, did all January 1st. The problem with that would be, you got 7, 8 employees maybe that have a bunch of days to use at the end of the year, and all of a sudden everybody's here. So, if you do it on the anniversary date, it breaks it up, and they know when to use their days. So, we'd like to do that.
So that's not, so they can't carry days over or anything.
Well, they can still carry days over, the same as before. There, you can carry 10 sick or 10 vacation days. You can carry those, but they're all gonna be anniversary date based now.
Any comments from the employees they have sitting here? Are you aware of this and it?
I think it'll be easier and,
I think it would be easier for all the employees to keep track of
Yeah,
it.
everybody keep
Yeah.
track of what's going on with their days.
How many of them can remember their hire date?
Doug says the easiest, though, January 1st, no doubt about it. Everybody remembers Doug. Okay,
One more year, you have 30 years, won't you?
This January 1st will be my 30 years, yeah.
You're only 40?
Any more discussion on this?
Motion for that?
We need a motion to put this into effect.
So moved.
I have a motion made by Alvin. Is there any more discussion? I have a seconded by Jim. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
okay.
Opposed, same sign. Sidewalks, oh, Brad.
Just, you know, update on that, all the construction part's done, we didn't get any lines painted yet. Obviously, that's spring now, to get the lines painted uptown.
We might have 50 degrees this month yet.
Ground temperature's still cold.
Yeah. We're
The
gonna have,
asphalt won't be when the sun's shining on it.
Yeah, that just makes it sweat, so that
they,
won't stay.
if you remember last February, they tried to paint some of those lines, there was still enough frost in the ground, the paint lasted about 3 days.
Yeah.
So, I'd as soon wait until it's gonna last. So, you know, we'll get that done, Central Paving, got the park done, they got that other road done,
I think they did pretty good.
they did pretty good. We got a few spots on Riverside Drive where they've gotta adjust some manhole lids that they didn't get the right height, so they know they have some things. So there's some ADA issues where they might have some lips they've gotta knock down and fix, but other than that, that's good. Let's see what else I got here. The SVG properties. So as you go back, I meant to get a map, I didn't print one off, sorry.
It's pretty easy to explain.
It's pretty easy to explain. So when you go back to where Galbraith Drive is, back to where the new housing is, just as soon as you get past the Ford Z-Bart, there's a little triangle piece of property there. We've got some storm sewer, we do have a little water that goes through. They would like to just give us that little piece of property.
I think
So-
we should take it. But it can never be built on though, can it?
No, it can't be built on. They've got a bench there, they're gonna have a sign there.
So then that would be another property then, I mean, don't want to turn right away, but then we have to mow it and maintain it.
We'll maintain it.
It'd be like Decker Drive triangle?
Yeah, some could be.
No,
It won't be.
it's quite a bit bigger than that.
Is it?
It's third of an acre, and maybe not even that, it's not real big, but, we do have some utilities there, so this way we don't have to get easements and things.
Big enough to put a doghouse on.
I guess if you'd take a vote on that for them to give us that.
I'd entertain a motion to take the properties of SVG properties.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion made by Jim, is there any more discussion? Do I have a second? Seconded by Larry. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Last thing I have, you got your appointment list that, you can do the first meeting in January, whatever. We do have one we could do before the end of the year.
They've requested it be done before the.
Yeah, for the, is he still here? No, he wasn't. On the second page, it's the, which one is it?
Plaska County Tourism
Oh,
Advisory Council.
split, I see.
I didn't get that one.
You didn't get this?
No bad.
And that'd be for Dave Scott,
You wanna look at
to
it?
stay on.
No. With the one tonight, the rest of the first of the year, it's okay, I'll get a copy of it.
Yeah, that needs to be corrected on here, cause,
That's the updated date.
oh,
It would have said 2025, it says 27 now.
Yes, that is the updated date.
You don't have one?
They're
of them?
2-year terms for that.
I got two of them. Sorry.
And then, what about on the Star City Sewer District? Oh, that comes out next year.
That's next year.
Okay. So I entertain a motion to keep Dave Scott on. I guess that's appointed by me, isn't it?
Mhm.
So I'll appoint Dave Scott to do his 2 more year term. Anything else, Brad?
Nope.
Can we just vote on appointing all of them?
No, that's not till January. Or January meeting. Right? Am I correct?
You can do them whenever you want to.
Yes.
That's normally when we do it, our first meeting in January.
You could do them anytime, but yeah.
It's up to you folks, you council members. Any more discussion? Moving on now, I guess. Kendra, fire
Okay.
equipment donations?
You've all got, fund history that shows the donations that we've received for the fire equipment,
We got what?
fund report.
No. Oh, okay.
So we've received, so far to date, $53,010
Towards the fire truck.
fire truck.
$53,010,
Yep, I just wanted to let you guys know how that was going.
that's helpful to know that.
You must have some more pledges that people.
The power show was in and said that they would be donating $5,000 in September
Okay, that's
of
it.
next year.
Total here was 60, that's what, okay.
Baker Tilly third quarter financial report was the next thing I had. And then I've got 3 water and wastewater adjustments. We had another one come in just this afternoon for $169.45.
Is there a way you could put a slip in the building to make people aware that a little trickle of water adds up over a month? Maybe it would get somebody's attention.
We can.
2 of these are running toilets where I just can't approve those myself. That's just-
And you can hear that if you're in your house.
I would like to see you put a notice in there, for people to be aware that it could cost them, a couple $100, a little trickle of water every month. If we could do that.
We can do that.
I have a question, what's the adjustment in the winter for when freeze warnings are out and we ask people to keep the trickle going? Is there an adjustment done for that? No. So there's no adjustment on your water bill?
Any more discussion on these adjustments or motion on them?
Did you get his question answered?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm fine.
I make a motion to approve the water and wastewater adjustment agreement.
On all 3 of them?
Yes.
We have a motion made by Larry to approve all 3 of the water and wastewater adjustments. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Danielle. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Did you oppose too?
No.
4 yeas, 1 nay.
And then the last I have is, 2026 disconnect dates. We were wanting to send these out as well, but there's been a lot of confusion on when disconnect date is, because it's not always the last day of the month. So we thought maybe we would head it off and send this out with the first billing, if you guys would approve that.
I think it'd be very effective.
Huh?
I said I think it'd be very effective. I don't know when
Council
How-
thoughts?
I don't know how you currently do it, do you, on the
Good idea.
bill, does it have the disconnect date on it,
I think that's up to.
highlighted, where you
Clerk's
can
office,
see?
not us.
Yeah.
There's,
I know,
there's
I'm trying to be
Personally,
redundant, but
notices and.
Personally, I think that's up to the clerk treasurer's office and not a council decision. I mean, really, you guys wanna take care of the billing and do all that,
Okay,
You have our approval, you have our approval, that's,
yeah.
okay.
But then, I did have a couple down at the bottom. We don't have elections anymore at the town office, and I don't see a reason that primary election day and general election day at the office should be closed.
You guys did that last year.
Voted on it last year.
Well, this is for a new year, this
Well,
is
it's-
2026.
Mhm.
It's in years that there's an election. If there's no election, we don't take.
We
it.
never have them in our town office anymore.
No. It's just,
it's honoring.
it's honoring, it's not in the office, it's just election day or primary election day. Now, like this year, there wasn't, so
We didn't have
we
it.
worked it. But when there's a election, whether it's state, local, then we get the primary and end election day off.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Old business, UTVs. The council, any of the members, oh, wait a minute, yeah. Any of the members, read over that and have any thoughts?
I've got a couple of questions on it. The second part here, you may not adopt an ordinance that provides it as the following. Impose a fee for license or specify accessories. Is that normal, or should we, maybe the license, but we should be able to impose restrictions on it? Or turn signals,
And and a fee,
there's no fee in there either, there's no kind of fee.
Right,
And that's just, it needs added, yes.
right, that's stuff that we need to change.
We gotta
This
get
was
to
just
that
what
point
another
first.
town had used, yeah.
You've gotta get to that point first, then we'll put that.
Then down below it says that 80 inches width, a dry weight of up to 3,500 pounds.
That's according to the IC code, that's how it's written.
On the next page, all terrain vehicles defined under Indiana code are not permitted. Now, if I read the code right, that's 55 inches wide, 1,500 pounds or less, at least 3 wheels, non-highway, and recreational. So why is it not permitted? I don't agree with that. Just throwing it out there.
I think what they're describing, Alvin, is like a four-wheeler, what you'd call like a four-wheeler, the sit-on-top four-wheelers, I think is what that describes.
If it's a recreational vehicle, I can say no.
Just because it's defined differently under the code. I mean, you can permit it if you want, but I think that's what they were getting at when they were trying to define 1,500 pounds or less, or.
I think,
So I had the same question for Kendra when I saw it.
They've gotta approve it regardless, so if they don't approve, they're not gonna get a permit for the police, they won't get a permit for it anyway then.
This is some things that I was kinda looking at after reading that, possible $25 fee and use the same decal that we use for the golf carts, so we don't have to.
I voiced my opinion last month, and I do not support this whatsoever, so that's my opinion.
Slow-moving vehicle signs, lights, horns, turn, tail lights, brake lights, and it cannot be straddled.
I just think it'll open up the can of worms for the town to have, over 200 golf carts now, and you're gonna have more of these things coming in, it's 3,500 pounds, if you go with that, that's, nope, not for me.
well, you can't have the scales and weigh them. You're not gonna know how much they weigh.
How much yours weigh, Glenn?
I would expect 4,000, but I've never weighed it. I honestly don't know.
I don't think very many of them would ever weigh 3,500 to 4,000 pounds. A lot of cars don't weigh 4,000 pounds.
Yeah, and that's true, it's,
Probably half that.
we were probably carrying 4,000 with Nick and I's, so we were probably close to the 2,200 pounds. So you are probably accurate, very accurate on that. And all it is a small Jeep. So
I assume they have tags, like a vehicle would have for their weight on them, do they?
they probably do, but I've never looked at mine on that part.
Brian,
Yeah,
I thought you wanted to say something.
they keep pointing at me. We allow them in Kiwanis, the side by, and the way we do it in our policy, we describe them as a side by side, so we don't have the quads and the weight. Cause it's so much easier for people to understand when they read, oh, it's gotta be a side by side, it can't be like a quad or something like that. So we keep that kind of stuff off the road.
When you say quad, you mean like two people have sat side by side?
No, like, I mean like it's just a quad, it's like a single seat.
Four-wheeler.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cause those aren't allowed on our roadways.
When you say a side by side though, that tells me you're talking about two people sitting side by side.
Well, it takes two people that can sit side by side, so it helps with the
Could be
definition.
a Kubota.
Cause if you
could be
tell a
Gator,
person
could
it's
be-
gotta weigh 4,000 pounds, they're gonna go, I don't know how much mine weighs. But if I tell them hey, it's a side by side, that's how it's differentiated in our policy. And I don't know, every community's different, but we've had zero issue with them, and we've had it for 6 years, I think.
They've had great luck over there, and that's in Francisville, or?
No,
You know,
Kiwanis.
Kiwanis, and Francisville has their ordinance already, so Winnemac doesn't. You know, they're just asking to ride in town.
Well, I'm thinking if we do approve this, in my opinion, I think the golf carts and the side by sides or whatever all have to pass all this turn lights, brake lights, everything, but
Agreed.
I think the fee should be $50 or more, is my thought,
Side by side?
in golf carts, both.
To raise the golf carts to 50.
All
And
of
it's
them be
and
$50 a
which is
year.
Make it all standard.
Yeah, all standard, that's
Right
my
now-
opinion.
You probably wanna call it an inspection fee if you're gonna do that.
Huh?
You probably wanna call that an inspection fee, because what the state's trying to regulate is you not issuing your own permit that competes with their, like a driver's license permit. So you probably wanna call it an inspection fee, that's what they do up in Stark County.
What's our county call it?
I don't know, I'm not sure,
Because they don't inspect them all.
they're supposed to.
If you're a farmer, you don't have to have that county
That's
tax,
true, that's true.
which is not right. I think everybody should have it, even though I'm a farmer.
So if we impose a
You have-
$25
I had
inspection
to
fee
get mine
Well,
counted.
because
for
I
the
do
golf
inspected.
carts and the UTVs or whatever.
So I can only speak for Stark County, 'cause I'm the county attorney up there, but what they do is you bring your, for example, they say sheriff's department's gonna be at Bass Lake on this day, and they come and they have it inspected by an officer before they get their tag, they pay $50 inspection fee per car, and that's how you classify, instead of saying it's $50 for a permit, because the state don't want you competing with their permit fees is what they don't want, so you call.
In my, I'm sorry.
No, okay.
We have Francisville, we have Madereville, and Aura, maybe not. Should we have a county, town sticker?
The county already has stickers.
Town that covers all the towns, or?
We can't control the
This
other
is,
towns.
this is town here, okay, I gotta get it straight in my own mind, I understand what you're saying. So, but the $50 is not, it would work with no problem, and the inspections, they came, from the county, they came out to me and inspected the machine on my property, instead of me having to haul it to them or whatever. And even hauling it to, or giving permission to drive it to someplace, none of it's a big deal for.
Council thoughts?
I'd like to see the golf cart stay at 25 and make this 50 if you pass it, that's my thought.
You put that into motion?
Can I don't wanna.
No, I'm asking.
Go ahead.
The county is $25, the golf carts is $25 at the moment. If they are gonna stay the same, which I know you have no control over the county one, should they all be 25, or should the golf carts and the, side-by-sides be 50 or 25? It's a lot easier to keep them parallel.
We have nothing to do with the county.
Yeah. we're just gonna talk about-
I'm talking about golf carts and
I know what you're saying.
side-by-sides.
I know what you're saying. But if we wanna, we don't have to agree with what the county does, we can do our own thing,
Golf carts
which is my,
and golf carts is $25 now. Are we voting now at the moment also to raise the golf carts to 50?
We haven't done that yet.
Is
You
that
were
what-
talking, you was gonna make a
separate.
motion, but you were talking.
It's a
I will
separate
go
ordinance.
make, I quit talking.
did you pass the ordinance first of all, or do you need to do that first? I'm just, we're gonna put this in the, I would make a
If we
motion,
just pass the ordinance, it doesn't say what kind of regulations we're gonna have.
my motion
There you
is
go.
that the golf cart remain 25 and these are 50 for the town of Winnemac. That's my motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Alvin to keep the golf carts at $25 and the side-by-sides be 50. Do we have any more discussion on that?
So is that approving the ordinance for the,
Nope. Doesn't improve the ordinance whatsoever. You gotta get the wording done in the ordinance.
We don't even have an ordinance number on it yet.
Did you all?
Do the ordinance later.
Oh, I thought you had something to say. Do I have a second on Alvin's motion?
I'll second it.
Have a motion made by Alvin to put the golf carts at $25 and side-by-side do it at $50. And seconded by Jim. Is there more discussion? Glenn?
I would like to make a motion that we,
We got one motion on the floor already.
The only one, we're almost setting the price before we make it a motion to have them in the town, aren't we? Aren't we putting the cart before the horse?
You can put the fee in there, and then that fee goes into the ordinance.
Yeah, the ordinance is made yet.
The ordinance has not been
Okay.
approved yet.
Okay, here again, I'm learning on this part.
We're gonna
but I
approve or
still-
disapprove the fees. That's-
So we have a motion on the fees and a second.
Can I make a, sorry, can
And
I
we
ask
have our
Alvin,
attorney is gonna talk.
just for the legalities, would you mind, Alvin, adding to your motion, if this is passed, then it'd be a $50 fee implemented at the time the ordinance is passed, just so we don't conflate.
That's
I
fine.
just worry about somebody challenging us on that if we ultimately deny the ordinance, but okay.
And we gotta change it to inspection.
And change it to
fee.
inspection.
Okay.
And then, now these side-by-sides, if I'm correct, and Brian, you probably know, they have to have headlights, taillights, turn lights, brake lights, mirror, SMV sign.
Yeah, and most of them, the way they're purchased already have all that stuff on it, so
That
it's
is
really easy to
correct.
do the inspection, so.
But then you have a little problem, if Glenn comes driving his through town and going out to Good Oil on the highway, which they'll be legal on the highway, am I correct? These are legal on the highway? So they're not legal on the highway?
No, they're not,
sir.
An
no.
SMV sign is not good for running 35 or 40 mile an hour. That's a no-no with an SMV sign. So then you got that hurdle you gotta decide what you're gonna do on.
Well, this is where I'm going back to what the county has. The
We're not talking about the county.
that's,
If the county has it that way, they're wrong too, because SMV sign's only supposed to be on a piece of equipment that only runs up to like 18 or 20 mile an hour, or 25, they have a limit there. And if the side-by-side's going down the road 40, 45 mile an hour, the SMV sign on, then that's not going with the ordinance or the regulations.
All of our streets, so I think the highest speed we have in town is 30, isn't it? Am I correct? Yeah, because the other ones are highways at 35, so they can't be on the highway.
But I'm just saying though, that is, you can look into that, there is a speed limit on the SMV signs.
Sorry, I missed the question, Tom.
but you could have a broad range of UTVs operating. Some
By
of them-
state,
Some of them may only go 18, 20 mile an hour.
in the state, for SMV signs on farm equipment stuff, you're limited on the speed limit with that SMV sign. If you go over that speed limit, then you're not supposed to have an SMV sign on.
I'm not sure, honestly, I'm not sure, traffic
Well,
regulations.
something to look into, but, I mean, I don't think it would ever be a problem, because I think the more visible they are, the better it would be, in my opinion.
Doesn't our golf cart ordinance specify the turn lights and all that stuff? That should be in the ordinance too for these.
Yeah, that's why I just asked.
Yeah.
So like, I got a Kubota, and,
Those will compare each other, I mean,
That is
it's gonna
correct.
be the same requirements for.
you know, so I have a Kubota, like a side-by-side, but it's got headlights and tail lights and brake lights, but no turn lights. Come brand new with no turn lights.
And mine did not have it, turn lights. I had them added before I brought it home. So
So,
it's, you have to get them added if you're going to drive or get the permit, so.
so we have a motion on the floor and we have a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Now, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the ordinance regulating the use of operation of recreational off-road vehicles as defined in IC 1482, with adding the slow-moving vehicle signs, headlights, horn, turn signals, tail lights, and brake lights, and it cannot be straddled.
Do we have our ordinance drawn up yet?
Just the draft.
That's just a draft of another town's. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's of another town, but, so you need to draw us up an ordinance yet, right?
Yeah, we can, I'll have Kendra send me that version, I can adjust it.
We don't actually have our ordinance yet for ours.
So, I'll rescind my motion then, till we get an ordinance drawn up.
Handle first of the year. And that's,
If our attorney can get it done by then. New business, contractor agreement for attorney services. Like everything else.
Fired.
I make a motion, we accept the contract agreement for our attorney.
second.
Seconded by Alvin, is there any more discussion on it? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Was you raising your hand to say something?
No, sir.
Okay. We're adjourned.
I have a comment, quickly, please.
No, we adjourned.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I didn't get this information till late, just on the no parking signs. I've gotten complaints from, people who live, south of the, old Chevy dealership. I talked to Ann, who's an engineer from NDOT, and report they sent a crew down to place the signs. They went back with some measurements and information. Those signs are on private property. Those signs were not placed by the state highway department. They were placed by evidently the Chevy dealership, and they were there. So right now, those no parking signs aren't legally up for the state, as far as no parking. So,
they can be taken down then?
no, they need to be new ones put up before somebody gets killed. That's just like safety. I sit here and I'm just a little excited about constantly hear about safety, and I go to county councils and hear about EMTs and stuff. There's nothing more important to me than the safety of myself, my fellow citizens, and my family. And sometimes they get a little bit, and I know there's money involved, so, but anyhow, just back to the no parking sign, it would be up to, I guess, that person, and now we have issues with, I believe, Mr. Calabrese owns that, now we have issues with JSI trucks parking facing the wrong direction, going across traffic to park in front of the no parking signs, irregardless of who put them up. It says no parking. It's not very complicated, so I guess we need to decide.
So there's probably not an ordinance that the police can enforce for those signs then.
Evidently not if they're on private property. So that,
But they're on the light poles, who owns the light poles?
Those are theirs,
those are theirs. So I don't know where you go then for that, because it's not, you know, I'm gonna keep bringing it up, because I'm not gonna be the one that after somebody gets hit and dies, that says, oh, I didn't say anything. So that's just, I'm very safety conscious, that's just my background has been safety, and so that's a very important, issue to me, and I will continue to strive for that now that the sewage is settled, so I don't know where you go with, I mean, can you, if it says no parking, if it's a private property, can you ticket the people? So no parking signs right now are useless.
That's right.
Al, where's the truck driver supposed to park at one stop at McDonald's or Dairy Queen? I mean, where are they gonna park? If they
Well, I
want to
agree,
leave?
there is parking across the street, you know, I agree.
No, it's fenced off now. Cross street
If you
from-
go down in front of Dairy Queen, you can park on the other side there, there's some room for
Yeah, if
parking.
you're going south, you gotta find someplace to turn around and come back and park.
If you're going south.
Go to
correct.
Dairy Queen, then find a place to turn around, and go back south.
I don't disagree with you at all, but I
But you're right, it's an
where-
issue.
Where they gonna park?
I don't know, I have no idea. I'm not gonna let somebody get killed so they can get a cheeseburger. You know, I mean, to me, it's a crucial thing. And I've seen somebody, you know, we don't know how many accidents didn't happen. We only know the ones that we get a call to, you know? So I'm pretty conscious of those areas. I've been, you know, kind of concentrating on that a little bit. And, now that I've made it public that I'm on that, I have people contacting me about what are we doing, what can we do? And I said, we're discussing it, trying to get it settled, but.
Well, it sounds to me like, in my opinion, and Justin can say if I'm wrong or right, but there's not a whole lot we can do about signs on private property.
No, I mean, if they wanna have a vehicle removed on private property, they gotta call police service.
What I'm talking about, like when the truck pulls over there and goes to Dairy Queen to get something to eat, he's parking in front of the no parking sign, but the sign is from the people that own the property, not from the town or the state. Then what's that involve?
To be honest, that surprised the heck out of me, 'cause I didn't know that you could do that. I thought that easement was state owned there was so much easement off the highway. Ann is the lady's name, she's gonna look into the fact that if the state can mandate no parking there, if the easement is so much footage from the center of the highway or something, so.
I'll be the first to admit, traffic regulations, that's not my thing. I mean, I can find out the answer. I just gotta do it. If they want me to look into it further, I can.
Which I was surprised, because all the ones like, you were saying, like by McDonald's, those are all state. And I don't know what the difference is down here. The only other thing I had was the other day, I had to call again about the, junk house over in Riverside Drive, both doors were open, and somebody shut them. That's my next project. I don't wanna burn it down myself, but this is something done. I don't care if it's recorded.
Oh.
Thank you. I know I got in late.
We're adjourned.
That just about the heck out of it.
Hey,
I mean, I get it.
see where they're at here.
We're gonna go to roll call.
They're good. Yeah?
Yeah, my father-in-law is.
If you could slide down. They sent their guys down.
No,
Are we fighting for Tom Riley?
that's not a short form, this is a long